Hi everybody, it's Emily Korsh here. Just another fun pre-off-road Rage 12-hour adventure race video for you. I've got a lot of props today, so hope this all goes smoothly. But this video is going to be about bike navigation. This is from a question from Matt Irving. So anyway, Matt, listen up, this is for you. And as I was thinking about this video, I just kind of had some more thoughts about map preparation and map and compass work is really just a thread that runs throughout every adventure race, no matter what discipline you're doing, if you're trekking, if you're biking, if you're paddling, if you're climbing, horseback riding, whatever. You're always going to be working off of a map and compass and trying to navigate your way through the course. 99% of the time you're never going to have a GPS. There's some times during big races where it's a really sketchy area that organizers do give out GPS, but in 99% of the races that this group was going to do, no GPS. So anyway, I just kind of have some information about how to prepare your map before the race, and then I'll get into a little bit of bike navigation. It's kind of hard to show in a stationary video, and I don't really have the equipment to do a really nice moving video. But anyway, I'll give it my best shot, and then like always, if you have more questions or thoughts, just leave them in the comments. I will respond and and it's just so awesome to see everybody excited about this race. So one more time, this is for the Off-Road Rage 12-hour adventure race in Warsaw, Missouri. It's a 12-hour race. There's also a 6-hour, but I'm just kind of talking. I'll be doing the 12-hour, and this is more kind of information for the 12. So anyway, before we get specifically to Matt's question, we're going to talk about maps. So the night before the race, you're going to get at least one. Well, let me say this: before the race, you will get at least one map. Some races do the night before, some races do the morning of. It's all a little bit different depending on kind of the situation, but let's just go with the scenario of the night before the race, you get at least one map. In Tiara's race for the 12-hour, you'll have you'll have some points pre-plotted, but then you'll also have to plot some of them on your own. For the 6-hour race, you have everything pre-plotted. It's a little bit more beginner friendly, but for the 12-hour, you're going to have to do some of the plotting. So and I'm going to be using all examples from the 2017 Castlewood 8-hour race because I'm the race director and I have all these maps. And then I have a link for you. I'll put it in the comment. I have a link for you to download all these maps yourself. So if you want to see what they look like, you can download for the 2017 Castlewood 8-hour or really any of the Castlewood races that I've put on with my husband, Earl. We put those all online afterwards so you can do some post-race analysis. So anyway, this is just a totally blank 1 to 24,000 USGS map. We have some overlays, so if you can, let's see, zoom in real here. So these blue lines, these are trails that we've overlaid onto the map. We use MyTopo mapping, and so they allow us to kind of configure a map, because if we just had the USGS base map, it would be no information and kind of hard to use. So blue lines on here are trails. We've got some out of bounds areas that we've hashed out here. So just kind of some more information beyond the traditional contour lines, basic roads, that kind of stuff that you find on a USGS map. So anyway, you'll get a blank map, just no checkpoints, no nothing. It's just full of possibilities, so exciting. And then you'll also get a clue sheet. And oh man, I hope this isn't backwards, but if it is, again, go to the link that I'll put up there, and then you can download it yourself and see it right set up. So anyway, it says, and if it is backwards, I'll just kind of translate for you. It has all of the checkpoints that are in the race here. It says the number of the checkpoint, what mode you'll be doing, so trekking, paddling, biking. There's even a TBD section. We had a bonus section that year. So people didn't know what they were going to be doing until they got there. Which map it's shown on. We had multiple maps, so just to be clear about how many maps each CP is shown on. We had 2 different passports that year just to kind of control some potential double punching. So anyway, it's on passport A or B. Oh, actually we just had one passport, looks like. So never mind. Sometimes we use two. And then these little sets of numbers here, they're like multiple digits, very small numbers. Bring your readers if you need them. Little zoom in. These are all UTM coordinates, so the easting and the northing. And this is what we say when we say plot your maps. You take these two numbers and translate them into the location of a checkpoint. And there's a bunch of different YouTube tutorials about how to do that. It's essentially, if you can remember to your like middle school geometry class when you had like an X and a Y plane and you had to like put points on this little plane of paper. That's essentially what UTM coordinates do. It's just a few more digits. So just don't freak out. Take a deep breath. Just think about easting, you're going horizontally. Northing, you're going vertically. And then just put your dot on the map and that's your checkpoint. And then there's also a clue over here. So we kind of describe to you what you're going to be looking for when you get to that checkpoint. So some examples of clues are top of cliff, rock face, trail junction, tree, municipal sign, bend in trail. So those are just like some examples so you don't get to your point and like kind of wonder like, okay, what do we do now? Do we just wander around until we find a flag or what? And these clues also help you when you're plotting. If you plot something that's supposed to be a road junction and you put your pen down on the map and there's like no roads in sight, then you're kind of like, oh, maybe I did that wrong. So just kind of use those clues before the race when you're plotting and then during the race when you're actually looking for the flag. And then in this one, there's just some notes like cutoff times and just things like that. So anyway, that's a clue sheet. It's like the Excel lover's dream. I love clue sheets. They're very helpful pieces of paper. They also have emergency contact information, all that stuff. So anyway, with your clue sheet, you'll translate your blank map, no checkpoints, nothing to see here, into, ta-da, a plotted map. So this is a map that actually has all of the checkpoints plotted. I'm really only going to focus on the biking ones today. But it's got, let's zoom in here. It's got checkpoints plotted. It's got notes. It's got north arrows. It's got the clues written in there sometimes. It's got instructions to me, like flip the map. Yeah, it's just like got all kinds of good information. Oh, and then this orange kind of highlight throughout the map, that is my intended route. So just tons of good info and just, you know, really, I feel like I'm on a cooking show and I just like stuck a pan of batter in the oven and like pulled out these delicious brownies. Like these are your delicious brownies, everything you're gonna need to know during the race. If you get your maps the night before, you obviously have a lot more time to kind of put information on there. So if we get maps the night before and it's okay to use Google Maps, then I will go in and like draw in roads, write down road names. We'll use this little thing called the map wheel. Oh geez, if I can get it open. Yeah. So this little guy, turn it on and you can like wheel it. You just wheel it across your hand and it'll measure distances. You can calibrate the scale on here and everything. So it's like pretty awesome. My hand is 1.42 miles across apparently. So anyway, you'll get lots of information put on your map that'll be useful to you during the race. And then some other things to note from the clue sheet is you'll have some information about if you're supposed to get the checkpoints in order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or if you can go any order, like 5, 2, 3, 1, 4. So that'll be noted on your clue sheet as well, and you can translate that into when you draw in your orange or whatever color highlighter you want, draw in your route. Then you can understand which order you're supposed to go in the checkpoints. So yeah, just like this is how I would prep a map. Just I'll go through kind of one by one, so you can have a checklist too. So first thing to do is plot all the checkpoints. I usually use a dot and then a circle, and then I write the number of the checkpoint next to it. And then, so that, you know, so I go to the dot, but like the circle just helps kind of, if you're looking at it from far away, it helps pick out the checkpoint, just because it's harder to see this little dot than it is a circle. And this is also very traditional for orienteering. The checkpoints or the controls in orienteering are marked with a circle. So now I'll also write the clue in, and I use the orienteering shorthand sometimes, just because it takes up less space so I can keep my map nice and tidy. But anyway, like here I kind of wrote down the bottom, a down arrow, and then rock face. So this is bottom of rock face. This little squiggle is a reentrant, so bend, reentrant, reentrant, bend. Same thing with that clue. 26 here is bend. Bend, I was clearly very creative with the clues that year. 21 up here, this is a sign. So anyway, just like write the clues onto the map so you don't have to like fumble between two pieces of paper. So once all the checkpoints are on there, then just check with your clue sheet. Make sure you understand if you can go in any order for a section of the race, or if you have to go in sequential order. And then once you know that information, just start kind of putting your route in. So like we're gonna just start from, you know, this year the racers paddled through downstream on the Merrimack. They took out here. I wrote down TA, it's right there. They got on their bikes, and they had to go to 15, and then they had to go to 16. So from the TA to 15, it's pretty easy. Like, oh, look, there's a trail that connects them. So let's highlight that trail, and bloop, off you go. And then 15 to 16 looks like a couple different options. You could take this trail, cross the creek, take the trail around. Looks like you could either go up this like very short and steep connector, or you could do kind of this longer, less steep option to get to the top of the hill to go to 16. So I just highlighted the longer, less steep option. Let's say maybe my team is like less good bikers. I would take a little bit gentler route option. Then 16 to 17, okay, there's actually a trail that connects the two, so I just need to keep biking on that trail, etc. So kind of you just go checkpoint to checkpoint and highlight your route. So you can see, well, looks like we got some trail checkpoints up here. Then eventually we get on this road. So now we're going to ride the road to 21. Oh, it looks like we need to make a turn. So then we take this other road down to, this is awesome. I love my professional video capabilities. Down here to 23 and 24. Looks like we get a bonus map at 24. So that's why I wrote on the map, bonus map. Like, something's going to happen. And then off we go out to the final few trail checkpoints, and then up here to the finish line. So that's kind of the bike section, like poof, on the map. Obviously it's going to take, if you're doing this for the first time, or even if you're an experienced team, getting your route situated really takes a while. Like, don't underestimate it. And kind of the more time that you can spend off the clock before the race, the more time that you can spend on this, the better, because, you know, you're not getting penalized minutes of time stopping and staring at the map during your race. You can do all of that hopefully beforehand. So yeah, that's kind of that's my like tips for preparing your map. And let's go into talking about how to navigate on the bike. So kind of where I want to go with the bike is the challenge of how do you, and we talked about it a little bit in my first video, of like, how do you take all of this, you know, floppy, large map, how do you take this and turn it into some information that you can actually use in a useful way while you're biking. So first is you need to have a strategy for looking at the map on your bike. You can use a map board, you can make a map board. Some people just use a hanging map case with like a little necklace around it, but then they have to like constantly be riding with one hand, looking at the map case in another hand. Here, I'll demonstrate. They're riding their bike with one hand, and they've got this map hanging around their neck, so they're constantly like looking at it, putting it down and riding some more, looking at it, putting it down and riding some more. Like, it's just not efficient. So kind of the easiest way is to break this down into pieces and fold your map up into smaller sections that you can actually see. And that smaller section size is going to depend on your map board. So I've got a map board over here. I'll bring it into the frame in a second. But I've pre-folded my map to kind of understand so it'll fit on my map board. So let's see if I can like recreate this fold. So when you're folding your map, you really want to like maximize the amount of information that's visible at any one time and minimize the number of times you have to adjust or flip your map. So if you think about it, when you flip a map, you kind of, unless you're like very talented or very brave, you need to stop your bike and get the map out of the map board situation, you know, and then flip it and put it back in the map board. So it's like kind of challenging. So anyway, what I would advise you to do is like take some origami classes and try to fold your map up so that you can have a meaningful section of the race at one time, and then you can flip it over, like poof, that didn't take very long, and see the next part of the race. And then I am going to have to like at some point stop and refold this so I can see the end of my bike route. So anyway, so just to recap, we're going to start at this TA. We finished paddling, we got on our bikes. So I'm going to do all of this section. I've got the flip mark kind of on a nice easy road. It's a flat road. So it's like, okay, that's not going to take too long. It's not going to be like I'm riding very demanding single track and like, oh, hey guys, I need to stop and flip my map, just a second. It's just a flat road, so it'll be really quick. So you flip your map, do this section, it's all road, some hills, get down here to the very bottom, and it looks like, if you remember down here, that's where the bonus map was, so it's like something's going to happen, we're going to be stopped anyway. So then before you leave that section, you can fold your map and get the final bit of the race on here. Kind of the challenges with this, the particular size of map board that I have is like I couldn't quite fit all the race. So if you'll notice up here, like the finish line is actually like off or like behind the fold, but I'm kind of just counting on myself if I'm the navigator to remember like, okay, I just ride this trail all the way to the end and then I get to the finish. Like it's not that complicated. So yeah, that's kind of the situation. And then I also like to make sure also every section has some sort of north arrow on there, because if you can see, like there's no other reference to north on there. So it could be challenging. You might get turned around or something if you didn't draw in separate arrows. So like here's a north arrow. Here's another north arrow that I just drew in. In Missouri, it's pretty easy to just draw in magnetic north arrows because we basically have zero declination. So same thing here, another north arrow. Oh, and then here's the real deal, like down there. So yeah, well, I've got my like beautiful origami map folded up. Let's put it in the map case. I'm just gonna drag my bike over here so that you guys can see it. Okay, so here's my map, or map board. So kind of like I showed you in one of the earlier videos, it's got this plastic cover with little like bungees on the side. So I've got, open the plastic cover, shove it in there, attach the bungees. And then something else that's pretty, oh man, this is like, this is wrong. There, I actually need like my first checkpoint to be visible. So something else that's really helpful, I find, is to also put a compass somewhere on your map board. So let's see, I've got, I usually use a thumb compass. This is a Moscow compass. So I'll just like tuck it in here so I can also see where I'm riding, because it's kind of challenging when you're riding if you have like a base plate compass that you have on a necklace, or if you have a thumb compass, like it's really hard to use a thumb compass and be able to like ride your mountain bike. So I just like to tuck it in there. I would probably want to practice with this because this looks like maybe it would like fall out. It's not super secure in there. So anyway, that's just, I would have a compass in there so that I can know if I'm turning my bike, I can see the north arrow on the compass, then I can know when it matches up with the north arrow on the road, so I can understand where I am on the course. So yeah, so I know when we get to TA, I know we need to head kind of north and a little west on that trail, so just make sure like you get going the right direction on the trail. That's pretty key. Just like make sure you're going the right direction. So we would head out to number 15. Now this is like kind of hard to see, but this is like the extent of my video capabilities. So I would head to 15, and then I know I need to make a left turn once I get to 15. So I'm just like bebopping along. And then kind of the whole time this compass is visible so that I can double check if I do get turned around. I can always, rotate my map board to get my compass and my map to line up with the magnetic north, and then I can try to understand, okay, like where did I go and how did I get here, kind of deal. So I would just ride this first section. I get to this flat road, and so maybe I would like say, hey guys, I need to stop, or maybe I'm super brave and I can just do like a ride with one hand, flip this out, slide it back in, clip, and like poof, it didn't crash. It's beautiful. So I would keep riding around, and then here I know I'm headed south, so I could check again against my compass, like make sure we were heading south on this section. And then we get to the bonus map section, we do whatever the bonus map was, and then again I would need to like take my map out, do my little origami trick, bloop, bloop. And then I have this last section of the course visible on my map board up here. So yeah, so that's what I got. I know this is like, gosh, these kind of videos are really a little bit long, 20 something minutes, but I like talking to you guys. Super excited for everybody that's getting into adventure racing. And for those of you who have been longtime adventure racers, can't wait to see you at the Off-Road Rage 12 Hour in Warsaw, Missouri, October 24th. Super excited. It's going to be a great race. Yeah. So if you have any more questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll answer them. Maybe I'll make you a video. Who knows? Or if you just have any requests, like it's not really a question, but the request is like, what are you going to wear? Like, I don't know. That was a big question when I started. Like, what do I even wear to this thing? So anyway, yeah, just let me know, and we'll see you in Warsaw. Bye.